Joseph, From Pit to Power, a story of faith and forgiveness. Imagine a life marked by betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. Yet from the depths of despair, a man rises to become a savior. This is the incredible story of Joseph, a testament to faith, forgiveness, and the unwavering power of God's plan. Joseph's story, found in Genesis 37-50, is more than just an ancient tale. It's a timeless narrative of hope, resilience, and the transformative power of forgiveness. It's a story that resonates with us today, offering profound lessons for our own lives. Jacob, also known as Israel, had 12 sons, each representing a tribe that would form the nation of Israel. Among them, Joseph was the favored son, born to Jacob's beloved wife, Rachel. This favoritism, however, would sow seeds of jealousy and resentment among his brothers. The infamous coat of many colors, a gift from Jacob, became a visible symbol of this favoritism. It was a constant reminder to Joseph's brothers of their father's preferential treatment, fueling their growing animosity towards him. Joseph's dreams further ignited the brothers' hatred. In his first dream, Joseph saw himself and his brothers binding sheaves of grain. His sheaf stood upright, while his brothers' sheaves bowed down to his. This dream, shared innocently with his brothers, was interpreted as a sign that Joseph would one day rule over them. Their resentment deepened, turning into open hostility. The second dream was even more provocative. Joseph dreamed that the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. This time, even Jacob rebuked him, questioning if he, his mother, and his brothers would truly bow before Joseph. Despite the rebuke, Jacob pondered the meaning of the dream in his heart. He couldn't dismiss the possibility that God had a special purpose for Joseph. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were tending their father's flocks. Upon seeing Joseph approach, the brothers' rage boiled over. "Here comes that dreamer," they exclaimed, plotting to kill him. They conspired to murder Joseph and throw his body into a pit, claiming a wild animal had devoured him. Reuben, the eldest brother, intervened, suggesting they throw him into a pit alive, secretly planning to rescue him later. Seizing an opportunity, Judah proposed selling Joseph to a passing caravan of Ishmaelites. For 20 pieces of silver, Joseph was sold into slavery, his dreams seemingly shattered. To conceal their crime, the brothers dipped Joseph's coat in goat's blood and presented it to Jacob. Overwhelmed with grief, Jacob tore his clothes, mourned deeply, and refused to be comforted, believing his son was dead. Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard in Egypt. Despite his circumstances, God was with Joseph, granting him success in everything he did. Joseph quickly gained Potiphar's trust and was promoted to oversee his entire household. He managed Potiphar's affairs with integrity and skill, and Potiphar recognized God's blessing on Joseph. However, Joseph's integrity was tested when Potiphar's wife falsely accused him of attempted assault. Despite his innocence, Joseph was thrown into prison, his future looking bleak once again. Even in prison, God's presence was with Joseph. He earned the trust of the prison warden, who put him in charge of the other prisoners. Joseph's faithfulness and leadership shone through, even in the darkest of places. While in prison, Joseph met Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, who had been imprisoned for offending the king. Both men had troubling dreams, and Joseph, with God's help, interpreted them. He correctly predicted the cupbearer's restoration to his position and the baker's execution. Joseph pleaded with the cupbearer to remember him and mention his plight to Pharaoh. But the cupbearer forgot Joseph once he was released. 2 long years passed. Then, Pharaoh had a series of disturbing dreams that no one in Egypt could interpret. He dreamed of 7 healthy cows being devoured by 7 gaunt cows, and 7 full heads of grain being swallowed by 7 thin heads. The cupbearer, finally remembering Joseph, told Pharaoh about the Hebrew slave who could interpret dreams. Joseph was brought before Pharaoh, and with God's guidance, he interpreted the dreams. Joseph explained that the dreams foretold 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of severe famine. He advised Pharaoh to appoint a wise man to oversee the storage of grain during the years of plenty to prepare for the famine. Impressed by Joseph's wisdom and understanding, Pharaoh appointed him as governor over all of Egypt, second only to himself. Joseph, the former slave and prisoner, was now in charge of the entire nation. As Joseph predicted, the 7 years of abundance came, and Joseph diligently stored up grain. Then the famine struck, affecting not only Egypt, but also the surrounding lands, including Canaan, where Joseph's family lived. Hearing that there was grain in Egypt, Jacob sent his 10 older sons to buy provisions. They arrived before Joseph, but they did not recognize him, now a powerful Egyptian ruler. Joseph recognized his brothers instantly. He tested them, accusing them of being spies and demanding that they bring their youngest brother, Benjamin, to prove their innocence. The brothers returned to Canaan and told Jacob about Joseph's demand. Jacob was reluctant to let Benjamin go, fearing for his safety. However, as the famine worsened, they had no choice. When the brothers returned to Egypt with Benjamin, Joseph was overcome with emotion. He arranged a feast for them, but continued to test their character. He ordered his steward to secretly place his silver cup in Benjamin's sack. The next morning, the brothers were accused of theft, and Benjamin was to be taken as a slave. Judah, in a remarkable display of self-sacrifice, pleaded with Joseph to take him as a slave instead of Benjamin, demonstrating the brothers' changed hearts. Overwhelmed by Judah's selfless act, Joseph could no longer contain himself. He revealed his true identity to his astonished brothers. "I am Joseph," he declared, his voice filled with emotion. The brothers were terrified, consumed by guilt and fear of retribution. But Joseph, filled with God's grace, reassured them. "Do not be distressed or angry with yourselves," he said, "because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." Joseph explained that God had used their evil intentions for good, turning their betrayal into a means of saving their family and many others from starvation. He embraced his brothers, weeping with joy and forgiveness. Joseph sent for his father, Jacob, and the rest of his household to come to Egypt. The reunion between father and son was deeply emotional, filled with tears of joy and relief. Jacob and his family settled in the land of Goshen in Egypt, where they prospered under Joseph's care. The nation of Israel was safe and secure, thanks to Joseph's faithfulness and God's providence. Even after Jacob's death, Joseph's brothers feared that he would finally seek revenge. But Joseph reaffirmed his forgiveness, reminding them that what you meant for harm, God used for good. Joseph lived a long and prosperous life in Egypt, witnessing the growth of his family and the fulfillment of God's promises. He remained faithful to God, always acknowledging his hand in his life. Joseph's story is a powerful reminder that destiny cannot be stolen. Even in the face of betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment, God's plan will prevail. He can turn betrayal into blessing, prison into purpose, and dreams into deliverance. Joseph's life teaches us the importance of faith, forgiveness, and trusting in God's sovereignty. It's a story that inspires us to overcome adversity, forgive those who have wronged us, and believe that God can use even the most difficult circumstances for our good and His glory. Reflect on Joseph's journey. How can you apply the lessons of forgiveness and faith to your own life? Consider someone you need to forgive, or a situation where you need to trust God's plan. Share this inspiring story with your family and friends, and let it be a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and redemption are always possible through faith in God. Let Joseph's story inspire you to live a life of faith, forgiveness, and unwavering trust in God's plan.